Hello and welcome to Easy Like a Sunday Morn. I'm your host, TheShaneLockwood, and this is episode 21. It's old enough to get the key of life. It's August 10th, 2014, and on today's show, I've got a super special guest by the name of Storm. And for those of you in the know, it's the son of a YouTuber by the name of Miss Burpee, who will be listening to this over and over again, I think. So thank you for tuning in, everybody, and thank you for listening and directing traffic to my YouTube channels and this podcast. So stay around for the interview. It does go for about 27 minutes or so, and hopefully you'll be riveted to your seat. Now, I want to address a few issues in today's show, just off the bat. A few people have expressed concern and are worried that I would care whether or not they were listening to this show on a Sunday or not, or whether they listen to it a week later or not. Please understand that this is a podcast and you can listen to it 24/7, 365 days a year. The name of the show is Easy Like a Sunday Morning, like it was a Sunday morning. You can listen to it anytime you want to relax and just take things easy. This show should have a rather bohemian, Rastafarian feel to it, if you know what I'm saying. So relaxing, in fact, it would be like taking a Sunday afternoon spin in a Porsche Cayman, which I have done recently. It's an amazing car. You can Google it, Porsche Cayman. That's C-A-M, for f***'s sake, C-A-Y-M-A-N. This car has more gadgets in it than a James Bond film. It's sleek, black, low to the ground, and fast. It's an amazing car. I can't say that enough. It's only $150,000. Great investment. Or you can buy a block of land for that kind of money. It's a free market. It's your choice. Another issue that's come up is that if you go back to the previous week's podcast, you will notice a small number of likes on the YouTube page, because there was a rather nasty person using a -like attack. And I didn't think this person was nasty in any way, shape or form. This person had unfriended me on Facebook, and I'd known this guy for years. I saved his life a few times. And for him to be a troll and post nasty comments in the Facebook group and then click like on the video 80 times, because if you click like twice, it becomes a negative like. So by hitting like a number of times, and there are bots that can do this, you get a -like attack. But it's not going to stop me. I'm going to keep doing this. So thank you for adding to my ratings. The worst thing you can do to this podcast is to not give it a thumb up or a thumb down, regardless. If you want to see the show die, you just don't listen to it at all. It's as simple as that. But I'm grateful that you have listened this far. Now, 4.5 minutes in, and I have to say a special thank you to Diana. I'm going to get a smack for that. It's Diana, who highlighted for me that this podcast is available through the TuneIn app and other apps like Spreaker, Stitcher, you name it. This podcast should be on the podcast directory. You've just got to look up Easy Like a Sunday Morn, and you should be able to find it. and I'm grateful for people who do listen. Please let me know, either through the Facebook group or through YouTube, through whichever feedback method you choose, which application you prefer to listen to this podcast through. If you have a podcast app that this program does not come up in a search, let me know and I'll add it to that search. Okay? Now, I've wasted a good 5 minutes of your time, and what I'm going to do is let you go into the interview with a good friend of mine named Storm. You'll also notice that there is no intro or outro music to the show because I'm not recording this at home. Anyway, on with the interview. Enjoy. Hello, Storm, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shane, for having me.
No worries. For those of you that don't know, Storm is the son of the world famous Miss Burpee on YouTube, and the channel link to hers, the link to her channel is down below. So do pop over and subscribe to her videos. So how are you doing today, Storm?
I am quite well, Shane. How are you?
Good. For those of you that don't know, Storm is a programming expert. However, there's something rather special about Storm, and you'll find out in a minute. This is how you find out. How old are you, Storm?
I am 14 years old.
He's 14 years old, and he's into programming. How long have you been programming, Storm?
Since I was about 7 was when I started properly doing it.
So you've been programming since you were 7 years old. What did you start doing?
When I was 7, I used to play games quite a bit. Like, I would just have overall enjoyment in doing it. And so from then I was like, hey, wouldn't it be great if I could make my own games and then play them and
Okay,
really accomplish them?
Okay, what kind of games were you playing back then?
Mainly on my console.
Which console would that be?
PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1.
So PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, those sorts of consoles. When he was thinking about his childhood, I was thinking about my childhood, and I'm thinking consoles. But in my childhood, they were talking about the Atari 2600, so we might go back there. So you wanted to program your own games and things like that?
Yeah.
So
I was always fascinated by how things worked.
That's a good thing to have. Fascination and curiosity in how things work. Now, did you have a specific programming language that you preferred, or did you start off with basic, or does you go?
To start off with, I honestly had no clue what I was doing, and there was a lovely thing called batch programming.
Bash programming?
Batch, B-A-T-C-H-U.
B-A-T-C-H, batch. Batch programming. And what's batch programming?
Basically, it's your command line. So if you just if you always start your scripts by saying echo off, so you could always speak to the user through the CMD on Windows.
Okay.
So it's basically text-based.
Oh, okay.
So when you play those games where you're in a forest and you have to type yes or no, or gather trees.
For those of you who are older listeners and who would play the older text-based games, there was a series of text-based games that were very simplistic, but they were written by Scott Adams. Are they the kind of games you're talking about, or a little bit later on?
Yeah, that's about it.
A couple of decades before, after me, I think. Yeah. So now, do you have a preferred language that you type in?
It really depends what I'm doing. So if I'm doing web design, I enjoy and prefer to use PHP, and the front face markup languages, so HTML and JavaScript. When I'm making games, I would go out of my way to use C#.
Yep.
And I'm starting to breach on learning C++, but that's harder.
Yeah, I think it will be, but I think you've got the grounding in the primary sort of language shell. Now that's object-oriented programming, isn't it?
Yeah, all of them, and then C++ only recently.
Okay. Now, there's a difference in the dark old days. Programming was very linear and text-based. So what would happen was you tell the computer a series of commands, and it would follow those commands in a sequence. With object-oriented programming, you are defining objects, and then objects can do certain things. Objects can fall into different classes and things like that. So it's a very different kind of programming. It's a lot easier to imagine and play around with. I think once you've got the basic structure, or the idea, the programming concepts, then you can pretty much use a lot of the different languages. They have different syntax, I think. And you can correct me if I'm wrong there.
So it's basically like English UK and English US.
Okay, so there's basically different terminology, different slang, but the structure's basically the same. What are you working on now?
Well,
games? Are you working on any games?
There's been a game that I've been in and out of development for a long time. So around about 2012, I believe, I was really fascinated with the Call of Duty series.
Call of Duty, that's a first-person shooter.
Yes, it is a first-person shooter.
I've never played Call of Duty. Is that the one with the black cops? Was it Black Ops?
Black Ops.
Black Ops, okay.
Black Ops, Call on Duty.
Call on Duty, yeah, I love that joke. Is Call of Duty the same as the Battlefield games? Or is that too controversial?
It's pretty controversial.
But they're the same, aren't they, just between you and me?
Between you and me, they are the same.
Different skins?
Different skins.
Okay.
We'll probably bring an uproar in the community.
That's cool. It's all views.
So
that's what you're working on. Have you heard of the Ludum Dare?
Yes, the Ludum Dare is something I've participated in 4 times, I believe, and it is coming up in about 13 days.
Oh, wow.
And I'm preparing for that.
Okay, so what are you... Hang on. Before I go any further, I'll explain what the Ludum Dare is, and there may be different pronunciations of this, but it's spelt Ludum space Dare. It's a dare. The Ludum Dare, it's a competition where you have to create a computer game from scratch, so you can't think about the idea or anything like that. And correct me if I'm wrong here, it's within 48 hours, or was it 24?
48 hours. There's a jam where you can work with multiple people for 78 hours, but I feel that's cheating, so...
Oh, wow, so it's good to have a bit of discipline, I think, and also nobody's going to steal your ideas.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. 48 hours to create a game. How do you stay awake for that long, or are you having power naps, or what's the story there?
Well, the sort of funny story. The first time I was doing it, I was ill prepared, so I had a rough sleep the night before it, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can stay awake all night. And Mum, aka Miss Burpee, bought 2-litre bottles of pharmacy iced coffee. I drank both of those in the first 12 hours.
Wow.
And then it was about 36 hours into it. I'd written pretty much the entire game, and it was now just about creating the levels. And 36 hours, this was the first time I ever had a cramp, and I did not know what was wrong with me. And my leg just felt like it was breaking or cut in half. I was like...
Oh, yep.
Because I was sleep deprived. So
yeah.
I went to sleep, and then I woke up. I set my alarm for 2 hours after, so it would be 38 hours into the competition. I woke up with 10 minutes left to go in the competition, and I had to submit my game, compile it, and get the levels done in that 10 minutes that you're allowed to submit.
Wow.
I got it in with...
Seconds to spare?
Seconds to spare.
I'll tell you something. With some of my university assignments, I've actually taken screenshots of when I've submitted them, and it was literally down to the second. It's like if I hit refresh, did it go through or did it not?
That's the most scariest point.
Yeah. But with the university assignment, that's scarier because it's like you either pass or fail doing stuff like that. And of course, they've changed the assignment submission system so that you have to go through a lot more nonsense. So it's like submitting takes a couple of minutes. So I was like, oh gee. But for those of you that didn't know, I did actually graduate with 2 credits this semester, which was awesome. So, but I gave myself plenty of time, and I wasn't doing any silly stuff like, 5 minutes till submission time. What am I doing? I think it's time to start.
He says that to make you guys think better of him.
I'm lying. I did that a couple of times, but the last minute submission. What else? So, now, you said to me earlier that you'd written a couple of games when you were really younger, like 8 years old.
Yeah. Well, when I was 8 years old, I was still experimenting with batch programming, and I was a little afraid to continue on from that because, pardon me, I didn't know if I was ever going to be that stage of being good. Because when you're little and you expect things to be like that, and you don't give it time to see the progression. But it was about when I was 8.5 years old, I had made my first proper text-based game. It was a clone of Deal or No Deal, and I remember it was great. It worked, and that was the first time I felt accomplished after working on a game that took me longer than a week to make.
Okay, so it was a clone of Deal or No Deal, the famous game show.
Yep.
Okay, on the televised game show.
Yeah. So it was text-based. So in your command prompt on Windows, it would have to draw the briefcases with all different symbols from your keys.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it was all ANSI graphics. That's incredible.
Yeah.
At 8 years old, you were doing that.
8 years old.
That's insane. But fantastic as well. That's the level of genius that I would aspire to.
And then from there, must have been when I was 9 years old, I finally moved on from the batch programming, and then I moved on to Flash. And there's this website called congregate.com. I don't know how many of you know about that.
No.
It's basically where people make Flash games and they put it online.
Oh, okay.
So
hang on. That was congregate.com. Okay.
So I was experimenting with Flash games, and I made a bunch of silly stickman games, and that was ActionScript 2.0. And I remember when they had the big change to ActionScript 3.0, and it was the first time that I actually had to update my code and learn that code can be different.
Yeah.
Which then led me into making Java games.
Oh, okay.
That was the first time from scratch I could make a game
using the Java programming language.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I made a bunch of Pokemon sort of games.
Wow. Now, did they make money or?
Well, you see, I was 10 years old, so
okay.
It's pretty hard to go online and say you're 13 or older and have a bank account.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I've been hearing rumours that you've been working on a bit of a larger project. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, I can. So, my parents own a company, and I'm going to keep that information disclosed.
Oh, okay.
But it's a big company, and we supply our resources to a multinational company.
Oh, wow. Multinational.
And we've been using the same system for about 15 years.
Yep.
And it's starting to become outdated.
Yep.
And then the quality of it is degrading, and it's hard to back information up because one person can say another thing and the other person can say the other, so we don't know whose fault it is in the end.
Yeah.
So we've come together to create this plan, and we've built this system, and it's called Storm Cell.
Storm Cell.
Yep.
Sounds a little bit like Skynet, if you ask me. It'll take over the internet and kill everybody. It'll send robots from the future back to kill John Connor. I know it will. It's not that bad, is it?
No.
So it's just in the early stages of Skynet.
Hopefully in the future I'll have a platform called Stormcloud.
Oh, okay.
And Stormcell will be a part of that.
Stormnet?
Something like that.
Oh dear. All right, stay away from the robots, all right? So
Stormcell.
Stormcell. It basically makes an obsolete system even more redundant. It's replacing an obsolete system.
Yeah. And
you're streamlining.
What used to take a couple hours now takes 1 hour, a couple minutes now to do.
A couple of minutes?
Yeah, it gets down that low.
Wow, yeah.
We have these things called job sheets, and usually they'll take you 5 minutes to fill one out.
Yeah.
With the press of a button, you get a job sheet in a few seconds.
Actually, this is true. I've had a bit of a look at the system myself, and it is amazing. And it will revolutionise that industry. I can't go into it because of confidentiality and stuff. Not for any legal reasons, but I think that certain people might hit me in the head with a crystal ashtray, but that's another story. So how would you value this? How often?
Well, it's been valued and sold at $20,000.
$20,000?
$20,000.
I think you might be underselling it, don't you think? Because if you're streamlining the whole process, I mean, I can't even imagine what you were doing before. It would just seem really clunky. I mean, you've got to cover cross-checking and double-checking and triple-checking to make it.
Yeah.
Because,
we had 6 different systems in place, I believe.
Wow, 6. And this replaced all of them?
All 6, and now it's just one system.
One system. So that's just efficiency.
Efficiency.
Yes.
Modernising. It's great.
And it's easy to learn too.
Easy to learn.
You could train a monkey to do it in 24 hours, I believe.
You could train a monkey to do it in 24 hours.
Because I can do it in 24 hours.
We're looking at one right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh. We'll keep that in. We won't kick him out of the studio just yet. It's cold outside. But that's fantastic. So, what are your future plans for your future?
Well, from a young age, I've wanted to own my own company.
Hang on a second. From a young age?
From a young age.
But you're only 14.
I am 14.
So, how young is a young age to a 14-year-old?
6 years old.
Okay, fair enough. 6 years old. Yeah, you wanted to start your own business?
Yeah, and that dream has become more apparent as of late. So, so it's become more apparent as when I was probably about 12. My mother and I brainstormed on a trip we call Van Go, where we go around Australia in a camper van.
Oh, very funny, Van Go. Go around Australia in a Van Go.
Van Go, camper van. So it's just a social media platform.
So it's just a social media platform?
I don't really.
So was this before or after Facebook took off and made billions? After?
Yeah, before. Nah.
Before? After? Okay.
I don't want to go into too many details.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So what else have you been working
on? Recently I've started up a YouTube channel to teach my learnings to others. So I have 2 series running at the moment. One's a 2D series and one's a 3D series of how to make a game.
So how to make a game in 3D and how to make a game in 2D?
Yep.
So what would be... First, what's the channel name there? So that my...
Brainstorm Games.
So it's Brainstorm Games.
Yep.
Is there a number after that?
13, I believe. So but you can just search Brainstorm Games and you'll find it.
Or you can type in the link down below. It'll be Brainstorm Games 13.
13. Yep.
We've got to make things easier for my listeners because they're taking it easy like a Sunday morning. So which language are you using to teach these games?
C#. So we're using the game engine Unity.
Unity? Okay.
And we use C# for everything related in the code.
That sounds fascinating.
It's quite fascinating. So in the 2D series, we're basically making a Pokemon/Zelda clone.
Pokemon/Zelda clone.
Yep.
Now these are they the top-down games?
Top-down games, yep.
Where you basically can see like a little cartoon figure of yourself running around in a little cartoon background.
Yep.
I love Zelda.
That's
It was
a great
so
game.
hard, but I've once I got past the big boss, it was amazing.
Yeah, and in our 3D series, there's a game that has came out recently. It's called The Forest. I don't know how many of you know about that.
The Forest.
The Forest.
Now, I've never heard of The Forest.
So basically, The Forest is a survival game. So the story is you crash on an island in your plane, and you have to go forage for
Materials.
Materials.
Resources. Now, is it like Minecraft in that sense?
In that sense, yes, but it's more graphical than that. So when you talk about advancements, so Battlefield 4 has great graphics.
Yep.
So it's like that, not blocky, but you can craft materials and you need to survive.
Oh, I think...
And there's cannibals hunting you on that island.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So basically we're making a sort of clone to that, where we have our island and we have trees that are choppable and they fall down with the physics and all that.
Yeah.
And then the base crafting components, and then later on, which I haven't revealed probably yet, will be a challenge. So who can continue on the series? Because I have a GitHub. So if people just fork that GitHub, they can make their own.
Hang on. You've used a few expressions. GitHub?
Yep.
What is GitHub?
GitHub is I don't really want to refer to it as a social media, 'cause it's not really.
But it's a hub.
It's a hub for where people can connect.
Yep.
But it's where it's great if you work in a team, but where you can upload your code and your projects, and it shows you your latest updates.
Okay.
And you can save and you can revert back to your older version of the project.
Okay, so it's more like a wiki, for those of you that know what a wiki is.
Close to a wiki, yeah.
Close to a wiki,
And
but
then-
for source code.
Yeah, and then other people can come in and they can say, yeah, I've made a change to it, have a look. Is it for the better, is it not? You can add it to the project if you want.
Okay.
That's called forking.
And how do you spell that?
Forking.
So okay, there was a clarification for my listeners of hard of hearing. It's Forking. This is a PG show. Thank you very much. And your mother would kill me if she thought you were saying anything else. But but yeah, it sounds really interesting. I love the graphics of some of these games.
Mm.
DayZ is like a favourite of mine.
Yes.
Absolutely favourite of mine. So that people can go to your YouTube channel.
Yep.
And watch like tutorial videos.
Yep.
And they're in a playlist, aren't they? So
Yep. Two playlists.
two playlists,
Yep.
so they can basically just click watch one video, and it will automatically play the next
Yep.
one. So and is it fairly easy for people to pick up?
Yeah. I try to teach it in a way that I would find easy to learn myself.
Okay.
So rather than going on and I can blurt on about abstract classes and instantiating objects and all that.
Yep.
Or I can explain it in an easy manner to understand.
Yeah.
So I can say you have a Coke can.
Yep.
So we want to put that Coke can in the world. How are we going to do that? And then explain it like that.
That's awesome. I like it when people can take advanced concepts and reduce it so that pretty much anybody can understand it and get involved with it. So the programming language is called Unity.
That's the editor.
That's the editor.
The engine.
The engine.
Yep.
Now, is that a free download or
That is a free download.
It's a free download. Now, you'd probably need a fairly high-end computer for that.
Not really. I can run it off my laptop and.
Wow, you can run it off a laptop. So, and now is there a website for that?
There is a website, unity3d.com.
So unity3d.com, and you can download this program called Unity, and you can be and you go to GitHub. Now, is that a website?
GitHub is a website.
.com, .org,
.com/orangejuice724.
Okay, so it's github.com Orange Juice 724.
And that will bring you to the files for our series.
Okay, so they can download. First of all, they'd install Unity on the computer.
Yep.
Then they go to that link, and then they download those files.
And they can follow along with the series.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's like, this is a project that's like an ongoing...
It is an ongoing thing, and eventually there will be an end, and that will be a gateway to a new series, and maybe a branch way onto a beginner, intermediate, and then advanced level.
Okay. Wow. So, yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, if you may have heard me speak about before Ludum Dare.
Yeah, the Ludum Dare, yeah.
For this Ludum Dare, I will hopefully be streaming the entire 48 hours on twitch.tv. There'll be a link on my YouTube
channel.
Yep.
Brainstorm Games.
Yep.
13. Brainstorm Games 13.
In next week, I should have a video up for that.
Okay.
And introducing the Ludum Dare.
Well, I might talk about the Ludum Dare in next week's show, just to remind people. Now, when does it start?
I believe 13 days.
13 days. So I'll remind people of that in the next week.
Yep.
So, actually, if you're interested in joining, if you are into computer games at all, and I know that most of my audience probably wouldn't be, but if you are, go to Ludum Dare, that's ludumdare.com/COMPO, that's Compo. It's a competition. It starts... is this the 30th one that they've done?
Yep. This will be Ludum Dare 30.
So it's been running for 30 years?
No, because they do 3 or 4 a year.
So 3 or 4 a year? Okay, so it's been running for what, about 10 years?
Yep, about that.
So, 13 days or so. So it goes from the August 22nd to the 25th.
Which includes the 78-hour compo.
Okay, so that's a 78-hour, but you're only in it for the 48-hour
one. Yep.
Wow. Now, are you allowed to drink Red Bull?
Yes. There's no limitations to what you as a human.
No. I mean, are you, because you're a 14-year-old? Are your parents allowing you to partake in stimulants?
I probably could, but I would rather.
You prefer not?
Oh
yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
I hate the taste of energy drinks.
Yeah,
absolutely foul.
For those who don't like making games, once the 48 hours is up and the 70 hours is up, there's a 2-week period of where people can play games and rate games.
Wow, so people are actually playing and testing your games.
Yep. So at the end of that 2 weeks, they release your standings. So I was pretty chuffed with myself on the first game I made.
Yeah.
I was, overall, I was 74th out of 3,326 people, I believe.
Wow, that's incredible.
74th.
In the top 74th out of 3,000...
326, I believe it was.
Wow, incredible.
And that number has continued to grow in the amount of people doing it. And my latest Ludum Dare, I think it was between 50 and 60 out of about 5,000 people.
That's incredible. That's amazing stuff. Well, it looks like you've got an amazing future ahead of you, Storm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on the show. We've unfortunately come to the end of our time, but you're more than welcome to be on the show anytime you like.
Thank you for having me, and I will gladly take that offer.
Oh, thanks very much. And that's all for this interview.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Well, that was the interview with Storm. Thank you for listening for this long. Now, the code word is... No, I'm just kidding. The code word is thermometer for this week. So please leave that in the comments section below on Stitcher, Spreaker, or YouTube, or TuneIn, whichever app you use. Now, or YouTube. Now, if you want to be on the show, if you'd like to be on the show, please leave me a message on Twitter. You can do that by tweeting SHAIDO, that's Shido on Twitter, or you can email me on Shane_Lockwood.com. You can add me to Skype, which is how we normally do interviews. Just add me, TheShaneLockwood. It's as simple as that. Add me to Skype and we can chat away. So I do want to thank everyone once again for tuning in each and every week, and I will see you again next week. Until then, take it easy like it was a Sunday morn. That's all from me today. Bye for now.